Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Kevia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
You seemed a little bit unsure of yourself in the intro right now.
Because you were mouthing the wrong words as I was saying them.
I was mouthing exactly what you would say, like a director who's watching a scene play out and you've memorized the script. And I was saying it with you, like a parent who sits in the front row of their child's play and is mouthing the words so that they don't forget.
It looked like you were just saying nothing. You were like, blah, 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 blah.
That reminds me of Spanish dubbed movies.
No,
Not Spanish.
Like the Chinese movies.
I know that's what you were going to say, but I just saw, I do not know why, there are ads on YouTube that are playing for me in Spanish. I've also seen ads on Hulu that are playing, not a lot.
We're in a very high Hispanic area.
Okay, so you're doing that just because?
Yes.
When you set up your accounts, they ask you for your language preference.
Okay.
And so if I put my language preference as English, you would think that in today's smart technology, it would remember.
Do you think that YouTube cares
Well,
as long as you pay for it?
Listen, let's not get detracted from it. So this is what happened. I was watching a video and all of a sudden I get a Spanish commercial for the new James Bond movie. In Spanish.
Oops.
What the fuck? You forgot.
And
now they're just going to hear a huge slurp.
Yep.
But
the
anyway.
iced tea that I'm drinking is actually very good. It's not coffee today.
Yes, I made some good iced tea. But you can tell that the only thing they translated, the only clip that they showed was where he says,
Soy James Bond.
Bond. James Bond. That's how it sounds. Okay.
What kind of translation is that?
Well, it's not Bond. It's not James Bond. It's Bond. I don't even know why do they do that? Oh, it's because of their accent.
That's horrible.
It was. Literally, there was nothing else to it, just that. But anyway, that's what it reminded me. Because you could see his mouth was moving, saying other things. I've seen the trailer in English. But that's all they translated. They probably were like... And then I thought, how do you watch a James Bond movie with Spanish dub?
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious, actually.
I wonder if they get people from telenovelas to act.
I'm sure. They have to have... It's voice actors.
I guess. But anyway, that's just... is that called a cold open? Because that's not what we're talking about today.
No, you're talking about Office.
Yeah.
No, that was not a cold open. I guess it could be a cold open.
Okay, because to me, a cold open is the little bit that goes on before the actual episode starts.
Okay, so yes, it was a cold open in that definition.
Okay, if it's called something else, then we have to figure that out. Because I was thinking, there's always a little bit that they do in Friends, and then the Friends song comes on. And then the show starts. So.
We'll go with cold open.
Okay.
But we have an exciting story to tell that includes twists and turns and dramatic effects.
Okay.
No effects. No effects.
No effects.
But
I'm doing a good job I'm trying to follow you here, but I'm
trying to move into what we're going to talk about.
Into the right lane?
Yes. You're so dumb. Okay, so last night, a few days ago.
Cars.
Yes, so a few days ago, we decided that we were going to finally upgrade our vehicle to...
Babe, don't say it like that.
Wait, hold on. It's picking up the AC. It's so loud in my ears.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Hopefully that's better. The noise you hear in the back is AC, and for some reason, I don't know why it's so loud, but... So, we have had...
Okay, but you just said a couple of days ago we decided. Please.
No, okay.
Set the record straight.
We've been talking about doing this for a very, very long time, but we haven't.
Because?
reasons of reasons. It's not.
Reasons of money.
It's not a cheap upgrade. So we've been talking about this for a long time for us to finally be able to get our truck. And we've been wanting like one of those trucks that when you're driving down the street and it sits next to you, you're like, whoa,
How do they get up there?
that's a big truck.
Yeah.
So we've been wanting that for a long time. But
Which
we've
is,
been
can I just interject something very fast? Which is, to me, it's, I don't know, cute. That's not the word I want. I don't know what to say. But when we first met, you were all about race cars.
okay.
Okay. You had your dreams set on two cars, one that was completely unachievable,
Okay.
and one that was like, this is
What
my
were-
dream car.
What
Okay.
were they?
Okay, is why I wanted to see if you remember.
Oh no, I remember. I want to see if
Oh,
you do.
okay, but if I say it wrong, can you tell me which one you had in mind?
After I laugh, yes.
Okay, so one was that you wanted a 93, 94 Mustang.
You choked on it by saying 94.
Well, I don't know. It
Well,
was between 93 and 94, I would say.
Well, no, because 93 and 94 are two different vehicles.
Well, see, that I don't know anything about vehicles. That's the thing with
a
me.
93,
A 93 Mustang GT?
yes.
Okay, all right.
Which
Was
I-
achievable.
I did have.
Yes. And let me tell you, well, I mean, this episode is about cars. That's what we're going to be talking
Okay.
about today, right? Which just, we're not really, are we going to talk about it later? That Mustang? How
Go
long
ahead.
it was with us and all
We'll
that
talk
stuff?
about it now.
Well, because then I'll come back to it. I'll come back to that
Okay.
one, right? But that was the one. And then the other one, I'm going to get this one wrong, okay? All I know is, I'm going to try to say this. Is it an Integra NSX?
No, it's an Acura.
Acura. Yes, an Acura NSX, which is
Yes. It's a
Comp-
very, very fancy.
correct. These were the two cars that when we first got married 21 years ago, you would talk about, one day I'm going to have my Mustang. And if I could have any car, that would be it. Contraire, I was dreaming about Jeeps, dreaming about trucks. I have never had any appeal towards race cars. People are, like falling all over themselves over a Maserati. Look, I'm telling you standard names because I don't really even know, right? The ones that the doors open like wings. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, like all of that. And it's like, oh my God, status. And it's like, I'm sorry. To me, you're paying the top dollar because you're paying for your coffin at the same time. No offense to anybody who owns it, but I don't see how a person could be comfortable in there. And if you get into an accident in one of those, God forbid. That's all I have to say about that. Okay.
Actually, they're very safe.
For real. Okay. Now, when you talk about old-fashioned American muscle, I could get into that. Okay. Doesn't have to be a truck, but I'm always gonna love the trucks, right? So now that you say we've been wanting a truck, I just feel it's sort of cute that I converted you.
So we've been talking about it for a while, and sadly, we achieved the truck one time.
Well, but no, we've got to go back to the beginning before we
Okay,
go
so
there.
do we just talk about this one now?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
so-
we'll come back to that too.
So we've been talking about it for a while.
It's a journey.
A what?
Hello. Today's episode is about our journey to getting our truck. And what do you need for a journey? You need a vehicle.
Okay, so we went. Like, this is really taking a long time to just say it.
So sorry.
Okay, so
Somebody somewhere is saying, spit it out.
spit it out. Okay, so we've just been talking about it for a long time, and this week I told Ketmia, hey, let's go get our truck. We have a little bit of money saved up. We'll be able to give a good down payment. Let's see what we can sell our car for. And that was going to be the biggest depending factor. is if we were going to be able to sell determining factor, if we could sell our current vehicle to, not be completely
Satisfy the
upside down,
loan,
right? Satisfy the loan and whatnot. And we went to CarMax and had them appraise the vehicle, and we were very pleasantly surprised.
So should we pause there and now go all the way to the beginning? Because CarMax is in the beginning of our story.
Okay. So okay. Okay,
it's
yes.
okay, so for the listeners who are listening right now,
for
just
the- okay,
imagine
hold on, wait.
the little strip on the bottom that comes up and it says 21 years ago.
Okay, hold on. In the flashback, before we go to the flashback, for the impatient listeners who want to know, we did get our truck.
Her name's Bessie.
Her name is Bessie, and she's beautiful. So, let's go back to the beginning. So we started off.
Wait, no, let's talk about what your car was when you first. Let's talk about our cars beforehand.
Our starters.
Yeah, just quick, like a little recap where we've been, what we've traveled in, what happened to them.
Okay, so
What was your first car?
My first car was an '88 Honda Accord 4-door. It was burgundy with the flip-up lights. I love that car.
The red one?
Mm-hmm. The little burgundy one.
That was your first car?
Yeah.
Why do I remember seeing that car?
Because I had it for 2 or 3 weeks before I purchased my first.
So I would have seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep. You saw it in its worst form.
Mm-hmm. on blocks.
Well, before blocks.
Oh, before blocks.
Well, no, after blocks, when I had to go and find some wheels to put on. So I had this.
But can we say the sock story or not? Is that allowed or not?
The what story?
The sock story?
What is the sock story? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay.
Are we allowed?
It's 21 years. I think my dad's over it.
Okay, if he even knows about it.
All right, so so I had this little Honda Accord that I had like set up. It had an amazing sound system in it. It had rims. It was dropped. It was
because that's the thing that guys were in with.
Listen, it was Fast and the Furious, except it didn't have the fast. So.
And the movie hadn't come out.
Did it not?
Wasn't that in 90s?
Yeah.
I think the first movie came out in 2000.
Well, so Fast and the Furious came out because of the movement that was happening.
Okay.
And I was part of that movement, except I had a slow Honda. Anyways, so when I was going to go to college, I came up for orientation, and I parked this car in front of my grandmother's house. And when I came out in the morning to go to orientation, I found my car sitting on blocks. The wheels were gone. They tried to steal it. The system was completely ripped out of everything.
This is a sock story?
No.
What happened to the sock story?
It's coming.
Oh, I thought this happened before.
No.
Oh.
So the car was just left. I wish they would have just stolen it. It would have been better.
Did you have nice rims on it or something?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so that maybe they just wanted the rims, honey. They knew that was Slowpoke McGee.
No, they tried to steal it.
I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry. I was there.
The ignition was destroyed from them trying to steal it. You're so dumb. Why would they not want to steal it? The vehicle was in good shape.
You said it was Slowpoke. Like, who would want to steal that?
It was a Honda Accord. It's the number one stolen vehicle.
For real?
In the United States.
For real? I don't think so.
Look it up.
I don't have my phone with me.
Here.
No. You're telling a story.
I'm going to keep telling you. You look it up. So I had to fix the car. I had to put it back together.
Did they steal your system?
They stole the back seat.
Oh. Wow.
Because I had the amplifiers screwed into the back seat. So instead of unscrewing each amplifier.
You would think somebody would have heard. That took time.
No, I bet you it was
fast.
They knew what the heck they were doing.
Pro crew.
Yeah. And I remember this. I had gone to anyone who lives in Miami on Bird Road. I went to Senor Stereo, which is still there.
Wow.
Okay. And I got the most expensive, most amazing alarm that they had. Guess what?
It didn't work.
Hell no, it didn't work. That sucker was...
You needed to get Carjack.
LoJack wasn't around yet.
Oh, LoJack.
But LoJack wouldn't have helped.
You got Carjacked.
Yeah. So... the car...
LoJack wasn't around?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, maybe it was and you didn't know.
So the vehicle was left on blocks.
Honda and Honda.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 2, the Honda Accord and the Honda Civic.
Yep.
What? Oh,
Yep.
no, we're number 3.
Oh, well. We have gap insurance. We'll go get another one. No, listen. Okay.
Your dad is number 4. Oh,
yeah.
no. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Continue.
so... where was I? Oh, okay.
It's
so,
just supposed to be a quick recap.
I know, but you
this
keep
is
on
taking
interrupting.
years already.
Because you keep interrupting. All right, so... so I put this car back together, right? And now I'm driving around in a car that looks nothing like what I had.
It makes you sad.
I was depressed. It was horrible. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is horrible. So I stuck a sock in the carburetor to make it not start and give it trouble. And it was bad. I was like, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that was part of how I ended up getting I traded up and I got an Acura Integra. That's where you said Integra NSX.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it was I got an Acura Integra, and that's the vehicle that you and I would go and listen to music in. So
yes, sleek,
I
dropped.
know we're not on social media anymore, but the picture is still up there if you want to go see the Acura Integra. It's in one of the posts. I forgot which one.
Maybe it's in the How We Met post.
How We Met, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first 2 vehicles.
And that's the car I remember meeting you in.
Yes.
Okay, so again, to me, it wasn't. If it was supposed to be a chick magnet, it wasn't for me because it's just not. It didn't draw me in. Now, for me, my first car was a super sad yellow. Did you know yellow's supposed to be a happy color?
It was a mustard.
No, not even. That's bright, at least. This is like when you've had a lot of water in your pee and it's barely yellow. Okay, am I allowed to say that?
It's a mustard color.
No, mustard is bright.
Not yellow mustard.
What kind of mustard do you eat?
Not all mustard is yellow mustard.
There's
brown mustards and...
Okay,
Okay.
it wasn't brown.
Okay.
It was a very watered down yellow. Very sad. Like watercolor yellow. Okay? And it was a Nissan Sentra.
Mm-hmm.
We went to go look at it. I remember going to look at it with my dad. I don't know anything about cars, right? And we paid the guy $1,000 for it. And the car worked with no problem for 4 days. And then after that, I constantly had a problem with it, right? But the biggest problem with it was that I'd put the key in the ignition, turn it, and it wouldn't start. Nothing would happen, okay? And so maybe because of the movies, whatever, I decided one time to put the car in neutral, kick off like in a scooter. Can you see that motion with my foot out the door?
Okay.
Okay. While I'm turning the key, and all of a sudden, boom, the car would roar to life. I was told that can only happen in stick shift cars. Can you confirm?
It has nothing to do with you kicking.
What?
Because first of all...
See, this is the stuff that nobody believes me.
Okay, first of all, you would not be able to get enough movement kicking it with your foot, even if it was stick shift, to be able to jump it.
Then explain.
The car was stupid.
Okay, I can accept that explanation now. What is it? Do all cars have carburetors?
Back then,
Do all of them?
not now.
No, but did they all have? Or did some of them have something about like something injection?
Fuel injection.
Did all cars have fuel injection?
Most of the cars now
Because
do. The
I
only
remember
cars with carburetors are going to be ones that have survived from the old times. The olden times.
Because I remember telling a classmate, because at this point I was in college, I remember telling a classmate that that's the only way that I could get my car to start. Sometimes when my car doesn't start, it's fine. Put it on neutral, stick my foot out, push myself out of the parking, give it another go, boom, starts. Never failed me. And he told me that's impossible.
It is impossible for that to be the cause of your car starting. That it started, it did. That's whatever other reason, but it has nothing to do with you kicking it out.
That was my first experience. Now, I took that car to work for whatever little time, like literally I had it months, just months, okay? And I had started my job, right? And I remember that it was the very first car that I slid.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Rain skidding?
Okay.
What's it called?
Skid?
No. There's something
Hydroplane?
Yes. And I hit a light post. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if my dad finds out what happened. Thank God I wasn't injured. I don't even know if there was a dent in the car. It was pouring rain.
The Camaro wasn't your first accident?
But that's not really an accident. I didn't hit nobody.
You hit a pole.
Well, the cops didn't come. I just backed out and kept driving.
Oh, so that just makes the accident disappear.
Well, to me, an accident's when there's like bodily harm. Cops come out.
Okay, keep going.
But I forgot to mention that my very first, it wasn't my car though, that's why I didn't include it, but the car I learned to drive on, which I didn't ask you that, was a like old-fashioned 80s like 10-passenger cargo van.
Which you drove for a while.
Okay, it was brown like chocolate. Brown.
We talked about it.
We did. And we talked about the spots.
Yep.
We said that it had the measles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Nissan at least was my car, right? But then what did I do? I broke the golden rule. My dad said, never lend your car to anybody. Never. And there was this lady who used to work at the office I worked. I remember her name. I won't say it because if she ever gets to listening to this. But she was from New York, and she was I think probably maybe the first person I ever met from New York, because strong accent, right? And she begged me, please, 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 my car won't start. Please, 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 can I take your car on my lunch break? I need to run an errand. Who knows what this woman was doing, right? Me being kind-hearted. Interesting that there were other people in that office. Nobody lent them her car. And I was like, sure, take my car. It's fine. She calls me from wherever she is. And she's like, your car will not start. What's wrong with your car? And I was like, oh, yeah, it does that. You got to put it in neutral. You got to kick it. You got to kick yourself out and it'll start. I don't know if she didn't do what I said, but it didn't work for her. She said that was ridiculous. I don't know if she tried it because she told me she did and it didn't work. And my dad was furious that now we had to go tow the car and get it out. And you know what? I got to ask him because I don't know what happened to that car. I don't think we sold it.
On the side of your house for a long time because I remember seeing it there.
Interesting, because then after that, I got my grandfather's Camaro. And apparently, this was a car that was, there were other cousins who I never heard it straight from them, that they thought they were going to get it because they were driving as well. So I think it was a subject of contention, I think, the fact that I got it. And sadly, see, that was not my fault at all. And sadly, that did not last. But after that, we met.
Yep. And that's where we...
Well, I had to drive the van again. So I like literally, that was the only 2 cars I had used. One was precious to me. One I hated, right? And then after that, I drove your car.
We had the Integra for a couple years.
Well, it's interesting because, mind you, dropped car. I think you even had like some little stripes on it.
Yeah, I had the car set up.
Okay, so whatever that means for whoever's listening, right? And we have a car seat in the back.
Yep.
And then you told me I'm never going to drive no minivan. Remember?
Yeah, whatever. So we ended up getting a minivan because Nikki was coming.
And
so
it just made more practical sense. They were safer. Yes. There was more space. And we were poor. Mm-hmm. So what could we afford?
It was a van.
But what kind of van?
Hold on. So in this process, I had to get out of the loan for my Integra because I was still owing on it. And my dad had a great idea. My sister, who was just starting to drive, needed a car. And my poor Integra got T-boned and destroyed in an accident. So
its days were numbered.
Yes, but it was a bad accident. My sister had to get her hand operated on and everything.
Oh, that was the accident in that car?
Yep.
Wow.
And her friend, who was sitting in the seat next to her, lost a couple teeth.
That was pretty bad.
It was a bad accident. Anyways, so we got a Dodge Caravan.
Now, Dodge reps, if you're listening, I mean, I don't know how you excuse yourself.
It wasn't Ding, right?
Huh?
No, it wasn't Ding.
No. I mean, how many did we have of those, really?
No, it was Ding.
I don't know. I don't think so because Ding came after the Focus.
Okay.
So we had a van that was green colored, remember? Ding was blue.
Okay.
Okay, there was a green colored van.
Did we go back to Dodge?
Yes, babe. Yes, because it's all we could afford.
The memories are flooding.
Dodge was the only thing we could afford. So we get this green van because I have pictures with the kids.
Wait. So the first van that we had was actually a good van.
No, it broke down not a lot.
No.
I remember being pregnant with Nikki, going on vacation on a little getaway that we had. You and me. And we had to pull over in a town that we were passing through.
That was
because the car broke down. No, sir. The car broke down. Okay. And the guy told us, it'll take us a couple hours. You can walk all the way over yonder and go to that little shopping center there.
That was flat tires.
I don't remember that. But
I remember
the other
That's
part,
where we went to the theater.
AC. Remember the AC?
Mm-hmm.
And I was pregnant with Nikki because you pulled in and he had mercy on us. He saw me suffocating, huge as a whale, right? And he was like, poor lady. She's pregnant. The AC broke. It's the middle of summer. Nick was born in September, so I had to go the summer with the bigger belly, you know. And he put coolant on, and
so that the car had some stuff. It was a used vehicle, but I think you're mixing stories.
No, I know I was pregnant.
I'm not saying you weren't.
Oh.
What I'm saying is that first van wasn't that bad, because that first van, the only reason we didn't continue to have it was because I got in an accident.
Correct. Why did you get in an accident?
I was driving on Kendall, coming towards the turnpike, and a car took the red light coming off of the turnpike, causing me to slam on the brakes and swerve, and it ended up being a 4-car accident, which that vehicle didn't even know they caused because they left. Right, and I hit the lady who had just bought a brand new car. She was driving from the dealership.
Oh my God!
hit
What
her-
luck is that?
I hit her from behind, and she crashed into the wall.
and
and
someone
broke-
hit you from behind.
And she broke her leg. Yeah, it was a bad accident. Side note on that. Actually, it kind of goes into the next story. So the car broke. The car was totaled, and we needed a car. So we went and we got whatever we could afford, which was a Ford Focus, and we got it from the dealership. It was like the minimal of the minimals. And we were driving home, and it was late after being at the car dealership and all that kind of stuff. And we said, let's just stop at Chili's and get some food. So we stop at Chili's, and while we're waiting for seats, this lady comes in on crutches, and we just start talking to her. And it ends up being the lady that I hit from behind. Because the Chili's is literally in sight of where the accident happened. So we find out that this lady, she didn't, I don't think we told her.
no,
I think we went
you
running for
told
our
me-
seats.
Well, because you didn't tell me until we sat down.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I wasn't with you when you hit the lady, so I wouldn't have known it was her.
So anyway, so we buy this Ford Focus, and we had this Focus for a good while.
No, I don't think it was a good while.
It was like a couple years.
I don't think it was that long at all.
Yeah, I used it for when I was a supervisor for Winn-Dixie.
I mean, maybe shy of 2 years, because all of a sudden what happened, remember, it got recalled?
Yeah, it started having like transmission issues, and it was all kinds of stuff that was happening there. And we were like, the car was starting to do stuff that.
But it did get a recall. Remember, we
Yes,
got
it
something
did have
about
a recall,
right.
but it was having its issues and all this kind of stuff, and we were really worried because we had taken it to the mechanic, and part of the recall didn't fix the whole problem.
And it was going to cost a lot.
A lot of money. So we drove to CarMax.
Yes, this is where CarMax first came into our lives.
Yes, and we prayed that the car would not show its stripes
Yes.
when they took it around for a spin, and they're like, "Oh, great car! Yeah, we're good. We'll take it.
Amazing car. We
Amazing.
love it.
Low mileage. We love it. We'll take it." And
They traded us.
yeah, we went on the lot, and we went looking for a vehicle, and lo and behold, the bane of my existence was sitting in front of my face, and I did not know it yet.
But they knew it.
Oh, they knew it.
They
They-
knew it.
They sold us a Dodge Caravan, which we named Ding. D-I-N-G. Ding. Like the sound of a bell. Ding. Or the sound of the
Ding.
instrument panel going ding, this is broken. Ding, this is broken. Ding.
We
go
would
fix
get in the
this.
car and it would do that, and you would be like, "What now? What now?"
It was always something. So much so, I'm grateful that we got the extended warranty.
Well, CarMax later regretted the fact that they offered the extended warranty on that. Maybe they didn't know what they actually had, because when we got the extended warranty, thank God, we were smart enough to say, yeah, it had a $100 deductible, and pretty much you would just bring it to them and they would fix the car for you, right?
Yep. It got to the point where CarMax told us that they were investigating to make sure that
Higher
we were
ups
not
were investigating, not
Yeah.
them.
that we were not doing any type of fraud, because the
No,
vehicle.
no, not we. CarMax.
No, we,
Why we?
because we kept on bringing the car in and putting in claims. Remember, the insurance, it wasn't through CarMax. It was through something
No, but
else.
I think you're mistaken, because what would we have to gain out of it if we're shelling out $100 every time?
If
It was
we're-
the adjuster was questioning whether CarMax was filing fake claims.
The claim, the investigation was on us.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
I've always said the story the other way.
Well, you said it wrong.
Well,
So it was on us, right? They were checking because they were thinking that there was fraud that was going on. when all the paperwork was put together of all the stuff that was done on that vehicle, it was over $20,000 in repairs and labor.
Which the car was not worth that.
And the car literally was a piece of junk. We
So-
still drove it home, and there were times that we would leave the parking lot of CarMax after it being there for a week, getting fixed or longer, and it would break down in the parking lot or right outside of the parking lot. And we'd push it back or
Which I will
whatever.
tell you this. I always wondered if CarMax was doing something, right? Because okay, so the insurance, whatever the insurance thing was going to go on their end, right? But they were making a quick $100 on us.
No, the $100 was to the insurance.
Are you sure it wasn't to them?
No, to the insurance. It was the
Wow.
deductible. So it was, listen, that
So
vehicle,
we went out one day.
that vehicle was so bad that we would leave the windows open and the keys on
Oh
the
my
chair.
God. I didn't know you were going to share that.
Oh, yes.
yeah, we
hoping-
did. Listen, we did
hoping
get that desperate.
that someone would steal it because we could not deal with it anymore. We couldn't. We didn't have a vehicle that was reliable.
And here's the thing. There were people who drove by and saw that, and they said, "Ha, Bay car."
Yeah. Well, listen, it got so bad. Okay.
Well, we had another ding. I'm saying there was another ding, and we were like, "That's it.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the last straw."
Yeah, it another problem, and I told Ketmia, I'm not putting another penny. I picked up the phone. I called the
The holder of the loan.
holder of the loan, and I said, "Come pick up this car. I'm not paying another payment. I defaulted on that loan on purpose."
What is that called? Because there's a repo, and then there's like a voluntary surrender. And the thing that we explained to them was that we were literally making monthly payments on a car
That was
that
sitting in
we
the
were
parking
not
lot.
driving.
Yeah.
It just to me was better that way. And then they sold the car. Remember, we had to
Yep.
wait for them to sell the car at auction. Why would someone buy a car like that?
Parts.
Really? And then we ended up what?
No, they called us and they sent us a letter saying you owe the difference, which was like $2,000, and I'm like, I'm not paying it. I'm not. I refuse to. And we went back and forth for a long time until one day I got a call and they were like, "Listen, we cleared you. Don't worry about it. We're done chasing you." So we won.
We did.
So,
and that's
what-
probably the worst car that we've ever had.
Yeah,
The
it was
worst.
bad. What did we get after that?
So after ding, what came next was another ding. That wasn't ding.
How does that make any sense?
We got another van.
But that's not a ding.
Well, I'm sorry, another van.
Yes,
That's
we
what I
bought
meant.
the Rotan.
The Rotan.
Okay, so we go to the dealership.
Wait, where did we go? Oh, we went here.
Yes. So
To who?
Felix Sabates
Yes.
or Sabates.
Oh yeah, I love this
Right.
story.
So we go into this dealer. We have no car, right? And I had my Mustang.
Wait, you did. So we got to talk about that because we never talked about her, right? What'd you name her?
I forgot.
You didn't love her.
I didn't have her long enough to love her.
So what happened? What happened? Because
She was a fling.
okay, we forgot a car. Just so you know, I just remembered we forgot a car.
What car?
But I'm gonna say it right now. But you got the Mustang. How long would you say you had the Mustang for? Was it a full year?
Almost a full year.
Okay, and it was everything you wanted, right? And so it's a stick shift car, and I don't know how to drive stick. And you said, I will teach you, right? Wrong car to teach me in. There, in the community we lived, there was a place where they were still developing more, townhomes. So it was pretty empty. That would be a great place to teach a kid how to drive. And you take me back there. We switch seats, and you're like, okay, press down on the clutch and release to like power 1 or whatever that is. And then slowly ease off the clutch and press the gas. I swear, it felt, even while we were sitting there, idling, it felt like I was sitting on an angry bull. Okay. And just at the slightest press of gas, that thing would like lurch forward. I sat in that car and I was afraid to drive that car. And you can't drive a car you're afraid of.
Nope.
So try as you might, what did I keep doing? Stalling out.
So we had to go get another car.
No, that's not why we got another car.
Yeah, it was, because otherwise you couldn't. I had to drive everywhere.
Oh, and then what happened? We got my sister's car.
Was that?
Oh my God,
it
no.
Was.
There was a white car somewhere in there.
No, that was, yeah.
No, there was a white car. Was it your
Yes.
uncle's car?
I bought it from my uncle.
You did, and it exploded. Do you remember it exploded?
Well, okay, so I think I gave him like $500.
Okay, yes.
It wasn't even much, and it was
What kind of
just,
car was it? I only remember it being white.
it was a Taurus.
It was? Okay.
Same as the car that we got from your sister.
Really? Okay.
So, but it didn't last very long.
Because it exploded.
Yeah, the thing was, it was. He told me when I got it from him, he's like, "Listen, this thing's on its last leg."
I was with my mom. I
It
was
was
with my
bad.
mom that day when all of a sudden the car literally was like boiling.
Yep, it
And we
was.
pulled into a parking spot. You were working at where? Bed Bath & Beyond?
No,
You were working. I mean, it had to be Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't remember it being
CVS.
CVS. Well, and anyway, I call you and I'm like, the car exploded. And then you opened the hood and you said there was black soot everywhere.
it was bad. It was. It wasn't even worth to do anything with, and we just had the people come give us a couple $100
$400.
or whatever and take it.
And then
That
my
was
sister gave us.
we had that car, the white one, when we had the Focus. We were living in
Yes.
Bentry.
Yes, because that's another challenging thing that we had to do was that we really could only afford to have one car at a time. And so there was a lot of, if I ever needed to take the kids to the doctor, I needed to get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Drop me off with the kids in the car.
With the kids in the car, poor things, drag them out of bed, then drive back home. Or when we lived here, then there were times where I would go drop you off, and instead of driving back to save on gas, I'd go to my mom's house, spend the day over there because it was closer to where you worked, and then wait all day long, while we were schooling, do school over there, all that stuff, and just to be able to save on the gas, get to spend the day with my mom, take her out to do her things, whatever, right? And it was the learning to get by with one car. It was really hard.
Yep. We got the Taurus when we turned in Ding. So
Are we talking about my sister's Taurus? Okay.
Yep.
So this was a gold one, and that was
Yes.
a really good
It was
car
a
to
good
us.
car. It was a really, really good car. And I still see it around.
Yeah,
here.
because we sold
Yep.
it to somebody
We,
local.
when we sold it here local, I sold it when I left Party City and went into the business. So I didn't need another vehicle because I was using the work truck.
Right.
So that vehicle was with us for like 4 or 5 years. And I mean, I would drive it to Aventura when I was working in Aventura, down to it was like, I put a lot of miles on that vehicle. It was a good car. But that was my car, and you drove it around for a little while. But I think it was when I got transferred to Aventura. I think that was kind of where we had to make a decision. Okay, I needed to sell the Mustang, and we sold the Mustang, and then took the money and bought the
Rotan, what?
Rotan, the Volkswagen Rotan.
Yes.
So
Which a lot of people have never heard of.
yeah.
I don't think they make it anymore, right?
No. So we walked into this dealer, right? The sign on the outside was still on like a plastic banner because they had just changed the name on it.
And there's
I
a
think,
grand opening
yeah,
and balloons
grand
everywhere.
opening and balloons and whatever. We literally walked in there, and when we walked in, the owner, Felix Sabates, was coming out of the office where they had just signed over everything. Comes over, gives us a handshake, and he turns to one of the vendors or one of the salesmen and says, "These guys leave here with the card today. You do whatever you need to. I don't care. They're going to be our first customer."
He did say that.
Yep. And then it went.
So we thought, hey, this is a great sign for us because we were in desperation mode. And we even talked about it before we walked in. Don't let them know we're desperate. Play a little hard to get, and everything. But the thing is, these people are sharks. And they have to be because they're salespeople. This is how they make a living, right?
They get
You
paid
have to.
based on what they sell.
You've got to be a shark, right? So the thing is, leverage is important. And they can smell when people don't have leverage.
And we were bleeding, and they smelled it from the
yeah.
corner.
Yeah. So, then at that moment, we were at like, hey, we cannot afford to pay anything over $280 a month.
Yep.
Because I think that's what we had been paying before with Ding or whatever. That's what we knew we could manage, right? And
that was our first mistake.
Right.
Was to go in there and be like, we can't pay anything more than $280.
And so, the thing is like, because it was a grand opening and because they were saying, you're going to leave here with a car, I had a really good feeling like, okay, they're going to make this happen for us, right? And we start with this game, which I absolutely hate, right? To me, it was a very bad experience, what happened there in terms of we were there nearly all day. I think we showed up maybe around before noon. And we didn't leave there until 10 p.m. at night.
It was like 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning or earlier.
And we were with our kids.
Yeah, because it was right when they opened. So it could have been even earlier than that.
It could have, right? We literally sat there all day with them telling us in the very beginning, absolutely, we are going to make that happen for you, right? And we want a van. Don't worry, we're going to make it happen. And so the stringing along starts where they show you what you want, then you come back, and then they're like, well, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay $400 a month. Well, we can't afford that. Okay, don't leave. And then it's like hours and hours and hours, right? So in one of these, I don't know what happened. I think we started out with one car, and then they said, we're going to go show you another car, because I remember we went on another test drive. And it so happens that it is in this van, this thing that they're like, look, somebody just brought this in, right?
It had low mileage.
Right.
It was a vehicle that had a few years on it, but it had really, really low mileage. What it ended up being was it was a little old lady who bought a brand new van and had it like to go to the grocery store.
Back, yeah. And so then you get in to test drive the car, and lo and behold, you slice your hand open because the handle of the car has
a big old plastic piece that's like broken.
I thought
off.
It was like plastic. I thought it was actually metal. It was like a sharp metal blade that was sticking up.
It was the same plastic that I showed you on the truck that we looked at yesterday.
Ooh.
Remember that I told you?
Yes.
It's the exact same
type of plastic. Okay, but imagine something that's like as sharp as a knife, okay? Yep. And then you slice yourself. Now you're bleeding all over their car, and they are panicking.
They're freaking out.
Okay. And all of a sudden, this is where we realized, hey, we have leverage. Okay.
At least a little bit.
Literally, that worked in our favor, and we didn't even know that, right? I think later on, we kind of realized that they may have been afraid that we could sue them or something, even though that hadn't even crossed our minds. But all of a sudden, we said, we're leaving. Can we have a little paper for the blood? We're leaving. And they were like...
Blood that was dropping on the floor.
Yes.
Because it was that...
And they were like, oh my God, where's the first aid kit? No, don't go. Don't go. We're going to give you the deal that you want. And not only did we leave with the payments that we wanted, which I don't even know how that happened.
Who knows?
Remember, they
Added
gave
years.
us an extended warranty on a used car, which came in so handy for us. Because I do remember that the last repair that we did on that was a transmission problem that we took it
Yeah.
to Volkswagen. It was $2,200 to pay for that.
Yep.
That hurt so much. But we realized something before then. There was one time where we lowered the driver's side window, and all of a sudden we just hear a crash. Like the window never came back up. Like it crashed into the door, right? So who do we call? Safe Light Repair. Safe Light We Trust. Isn't that them?
No.
Yes. Safe Light.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light
We Trust.
Replace.
What? Really? I thought We Trust.
No.
Oh. But that's the glass people, right? So we call the glass people. We've seen this commercial, right? And then what happens? We come out. They come out, and I tell them what kind of car. They come out, and the guy says, "Ma'am, will you come outside? You told me that I was bringing a window for a Volkswagen Roton, right?" He's like, "This is a Dodge Caravan." What? What? We swore.
Yep.
We swore an oath never again to own a Dodge Caravan. What are you talking about?
And when we open up the engine and we start looking around, it's
How did
Chrysler.
we not look like? How did
It's
we not look
Chrysler.
at that?
Well, it's a Volkswagen Roton, but after some research, we found out that it's just a Chrysler van that's
Posted some
Yep.
what emblems on it?
emblems and a couple little different things.
Talk about
And-
major clickbait for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that thing was
So then all of a
what it was.
sudden, yeah, I think we hit a certain, I don't know if we hit a certain amount of mileage. I don't know what happened, but I do know that the extended warranty helped us a lot. It was not as bad as Ding, but after the last big repair, we said,
let's
I
go.
think it's time for us to.
And we were in a little bit of a better place. We had some money saved up. And we said, let's just go and look. And this was our first attempt at a truck.
Yes.
And-
oh, no, we missed the truck. Because it happened only for a day.
Oh my goodness.
We forgot
did.
the truck.
The sad memory of the truck.
So before.
Where was that?
This is before the Ford Focus.
Was it?
Yep.
After the accident. Right. So we went to the dealer. We took out a truck.
It was a small truck, though.
It was the Sports Track, the Ford Sports Track,
Okay.
which is like the smaller end truck, little 4-door, and we took it. It was beautiful. We were very, very happy with it.
And it was one of those where we left the dealer at night. They had already closed. I think it was a weekend. And then the next morning.
And the next morning, we got a phone call saying, your loan wasn't approved. You need to bring the vehicle back.
And we're like, you better have our car
Yeah,
there
you
when
better-
we get there.
Oh, no, it was the Focus. We turned in
That's
the
what
Focus.
I said. And then they gave us back the Focus. They
Yes.
already had a for sale sign on it and everything.
Oh, my goodness. What a mess.
What a mess. And it's oh my God. And we forgot the time that we went to go get another car
The Mitsubishi.
when we had Ding, remember?
We tried to get rid of Ding a couple times, and that just didn't happen either.
I remember the guy chasing us out, telling us, "You're going to walk away from this deal for $20."
Yep.
And we said yes. And he said, if you're walking away from it for $20, you can't afford this car. That haunted me because that night we laid awake thinking, oh my God,
Yep.
what were we thinking?
It was such
We
a bad
can't
place.
afford it. I mean, I thought the guy was rude at the moment, but afterwards his words were so
they
true.
They were true.
So true. So, oh my God, how many stories with cars? So,
So
we're
we
at
walked,
Hyundai.
right, so we walked
I don't know
into,
why we walked into Hyundai.
Well, we were driving. It kind of started that conversation, and we were driving. I think we were going to Chefs on the Run for dinner or lunch or something. And when we drove by Hyundai, they had the trucks parked in the front. all in the street, and we were like mesmerized by a couple of the nice big trucks that they had there, and
But Hyundai doesn't have trucks.
they don't, but they were used trucks that they had in the front. So we went in and we test drove a big black monster of a truck that was beautiful. And when we went in to do paperwork and we went all this kind of stuff, it was
But it was used, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and it was just out of our reach.
Yeah.
The payments were just more than what we wanted, and we were like, "No, this is not what we want to do."
It felt like we were really like pushing
we were
it.
pushing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, what if I can get you into a new car with the payments that you want, and you guys can leave here happy?" And I looked over at Kemia and I was like, "Do you want to do that?" And she's like, "Well, let's just look at it." And she sits into a Hyundai Santa Fe, and she looked at me and she's like, "I really like this." She was, I guess, smitten by the vehicle.
Yes. And I never, ever would have looked at a vehicle like that and
No.
said, hey, this is the car for me.
No, not at all. But we sat in it.
But it was instant love.
Yeah, we took it out for a test drive, and I was like, I really like this car. It's so nice. It's roomy. It's a brand new car.
It was just enough for us.
It was our first brand new car. Mm-hmm. So it was like, 0 miles. It was like, we felt really, really good with it. It was within our payments. It was within, what we could afford. And we left there with a brand new car that night. And we had that car for 2 years almost exactly. And last night, after we finished our purchase of the truck, we were taking the stuff out of the car to move over into the truck. And
I know it's really weird, and a lot of people probably won't get this, but I was talking to the car when I was taking things out. Like, I literally walked out there, and I was like, thank you. Like, oh my God, why am I going to get emotional about this? I really don't even know. But it was like, I was just thinking about how the car has kept our family safe.
yeah,
the road trips we had in it. And just, I think it's the emotional part, for me anyway, about, I don't know. I think that there's a marker that people have, right? That when I get here, I've grown up, right? And it's like that I felt that when we bought our house. Like, we bought a house. Like, we're there, right? Yep. And when we bought a car, and not only that, but it was my car. It was the first, and you told me that. I bought you this car for you, you know? And so to me, it just, I don't know. It was such a good car. I love Hyundai. And if we ever have to get another car for whatever reason, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, that vehicle was so good.
There were a couple times where we had near accidents, and the car jumped in, essentially, to keep us safe.
Yeah, the safety features, everything that the vehicle was, it's just incredible. It was a really, really, really good car for us. But again, we were at that space where we were like, okay, do you think we could finally get our truck? And
so I just want to say the story about us getting the truck really quick because I thought it was funny, right?
Well, we need to share the escapades of getting there.
The truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So very fast, right? Yesterday, we had said we took it to CarMax. CarMax was like literally on their knees, no lie, saying, please sell us your Hyundai because we have done a superb job. I will toot our own horn about that, about keeping this car looking better than brand new.
Brand new.
Okay, there's the people that we have had come clean our car. They have said that it's a car that looks brand new, and they've done such a superb job. Any local person who's looking for a mobile car wash person, time to shine, amazing people. You can look them up. But anyway, so we've done such a good job with that. CarMax gave us over what
What-
we
yeah, what we
needed to
owed.
satisfy the loan, right? Which was unheard of. So now we know, okay, we're good with that. There's money left over, right? Not much, but some money left over. Let's go and shop for a truck. And we went to Chevy, we went to Ram, and then we went
Well,
to
no.
Ford.
We went to, so we were doing some research, and we had started seeing, we were looking at some of this, like the Chevy Silverados, and I had called around, and Chevy has a real huge shortage because of materials to
And
make
the
these
chips and
trucks
stuff.
and the chip and this and all this kind of stuff. And we just couldn't find a Chevy truck. So we did some research, and we saw that the Dodge Rams, the 1500s, were like one of the better rated vehicles, and so we're like, okay, we'll start there. We went to the Dodge dealership. We took one of their trucks out. We took it for a spin. Beautiful truck, beautiful interior.
And they may have had us
Yeah, if it would have had
the safety features.
safety features that we wanted, we would have most likely left
Sat
yesterday
down at least,
with
yeah.
with the truck. But they didn't have the lane assist, and they didn't have the adaptive cruise control. The other thing that we wanted to make sure that we were feeling super safe in this vehicle, and we ended up leaving. And when we leave, we had even started to discuss, what maybe we go back to Hyundai and we look at their bigger vehicle, which is the Palisade. It's a nice big upgrade and a really, really beautiful vehicle. Well, maybe that's an option. I was like, you want to stop at the Chevy dealership and let's see what they have on the lot. So we get to the Chevy dealership, we walk in, and it's a ghost town. Like, we didn't even have salesmen coming up to us. It's that bad. And when a salesman finally came, he's like, "Okay, well, we really don't have cars to sell.
We have used cars
We
to
have
sell
used
you.
cars." And he's like, "Well, we have two Chevy trucks, a white one and a silver one." We're like, "Well, we don't even want to see the white one. We want to see the silver one." So we walked over to where the truck was, and the moment that we saw the truck,
There was an audible wah wah.
yeah, we were like, "Wah wah." It was not.
It was actually kind of embarrassing for me because, there's a saying, right, that your face needs deliverance. Are you
Okay.
okay?
I thought I was gonna sneeze.
Okay. But I'm very vocal with my face. And I don't realize it sometimes. Okay. If I'm not careful, my face is going to show clearly I'm very disappointed. Right.
Well, the truck that he went to go take us to, it wasn't the basic model, because their basic Silverado is like the work truck. There's like nothing to it. It was like one step above it. Katmia looked at it. She's like, "What happened to the wheels?" It's like these little, like 17-inch, nothing good looking about them. And then he opens the door, and the interior is just super, super plain. There's nothing. It's not a vehicle that you would say, "Hey, I'm driving. Look at my truck," right?
So can I
we're-
tell you what I thought about in that very moment when
Go.
I looked at it? Because the guy's like, "Well, it doesn't have the safety features you want." I'm like, "Why are you even showing it to us then?" I said that in my mind, but he's going on and on about how this is not the basic one. Okay, this is a step up, and all I could think about was the episode in I Love Lucy where she desperately wants a designer dress, and she goes to try on dresses. And she tries on this gorgeous dress, and she looks at the price tag, and it's $500. Okay, and she's like, "I want something a little bit more basic." And they bring her a very plain looking dress. It's also $500, and that's all I could think about. You're telling me it's a step up, and yet it's so plain. I can't even imagine what your basic plain
it
truck
can't even
looks
go
like.
down more.
But so I was like, and he said, oh, from the body language. Remember, he said that. I was like, dang, I didn't hold back. I wasn't meaning to. And he was like, you don't like it. And I was like, no, it's kind of ugly. And I didn't realize, in a sense, I was insulting him, because then he goes on and on about how much he loves Chevy,
That's
how
why
much
he
he loves
works
Chevy
there.
trucks.
And that's why he works there. And
Exactly. And I was like, oh, God, no disrespect, but it's just awful.
well, the truck and then he starts showing us. He's like, you see that one over there? That's what you guys want. You want a high country. That's
We're like, well, okay, can we
I'm
see
like,
that one?
Can we see that one? He's like, no, that's somebody's truck. I'm like, well, what does that help us? And then another high country was coming in. He's like, well, see, there's another one. I was like, yeah, but you still can't sell us that. Like, that's not what we want.
So then, interesting, we end up going to Ford.
Well, hold
right?
on. So we're leaving there, and we're passing by the Hyundai dealership, right? Because it's on our way there. And I don't know what it was. We're just like...
No, I remember exactly what it was.
Okay, go.
We were at the intersection where we have to either go left or straight to go to Hyundai or to go to Ford. Because you said, let's just go to Hyundai. And I said, babe, don't you want to go to Ford just to know? Because you said it doesn't seem like there's any trucks that have the features that we want in them, right? And I said, don't you want to go just to know? We went there, there's nothing, we can go to Hyundai and then go from there. And you said, okay, let's go. And I think the hesitancy was because you were not quite sure that a Ford truck is what you wanted.
Right.
You weren't quite sure. So I think that there was like a, meh, and you were, meh, you even told me. At this point, I'm open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, let's go check it out. If anything, then we know. We went to all the truck dealerships, essentially, that we would even consider. Right?
Yeah.
And
so we pull into the Ford dealership, and as soon as we park our car, I see the salesman. I guess he's the next one in line, and he walks to the front door, and I was like, the vultures have come out. Right? So as we're walking in, right, he comes and he starts...
Wait.
Okay.
No, because you're messing something up. Okay, so as we're walking, I tell you, can I have this one? Because by now, we've already talked to a couple people, right? And you're like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, can I ask him about it, right? So I'm thinking there's something specific I want to say to him, right? And you said, okay, like he's getting really, really close. You give me the green light. Okay, you can, right? You can go for it. And what I was going to say was, we just won the lottery. Show us your best trucks, right?
Right.
Have him get like all like, what? And then it's just like, we're just joking, but we really want to look at your trucks, right? Instead, you speak for me. And you say, my wife doesn't speak English.
No.
Yes.
She doesn't speak Spanish.
Spanish. That's what I meant.
No, but I didn't say that. I asked him if he spoke English.
Yeah.
Because
but you ruined it for me.
Well.
But we didn't know. We didn't know. It was actually going to be a good thing. So he ruins it for me. I can't say anything anymore about the whole joke now. Because now, see, there's something you can always count on me for. I will never, ever run you over in public. Ever.
Except on the chat.
I will have your back. You say anything, and I'm processing what you're saying. I'm like, wait, that's not true. I will never expose you. Okay? I've got your back 1,000%. So you start with that, and I'm like, okay, I got to shift gears here. Right? And so then you turn to me, and you're like, go, ask him. And now I have to figure out, okay, how do I now ask him? I felt like that moment, he thought you were trying to give me a lesson in learn to ask for things for yourself in Spanish. So I'm like, carro. Queremos carro.
It wasn't that bad, but yes. So she makes this attempt to make it seem like she doesn't speak very good Spanish.
And he's like, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
What is it? You translate.
Yeah, he's like, I speak little English, but we do it. We go okay. We go sell you car. We good. Let's go. What do you want?
And so then
So-
you steal my lines.
Hold on. So I tell him that we want a truck. The safety features are a big deal for us.
Don't even show us.
Don't even show us if it doesn't have it. And he's like, well, we have a few trucks on the lot. I'll show you what we got. And as we're walking over there, he's like, the pricing is a little bit different because it's going to be a little bit more expensive because it has those safety features. And I was like, well, we just won the lottery, so it's okay for you to
That
show
guy
us.
almost stops dead in his tracks. Okay.
You're so loud in
sorry.
my ear.
Because it's like to convey the look in his face. He was like,
Yes.
what?
He turns around and looks at us
You
like,
won the lottery?
yeah. So,
He was thinking, I won the lottery right now.
all right. So, anyway, so he takes us back over, and he starts talking about a couple of the different trucks. He's like, "This is not the model you want. I want you to see the difference." So I think he did a really good job of showing us what we didn't want first, so that when we got to the top of the line truck that he took us to, I think it helped with sticker shock a little bit, right? But we walked up to the truck and he's like, "This is what you want." And Missy over here
I lose it. I lost
loses
composure.
it. Listen, people.
I'm literally drooling over this
Drooling.
truck.
She's giddy.
Yes,
She's
vocal.
vocally, and I had to look at her and I had to raise my hand and slap her. I'm just kidding. I was like, Seidel. No, I was like,
You had to remind me,
Like-
we can't make it easy for them.
yeah, I was like, you
But-
can't do that. You're giving it. You're
but
giving them all our
I
cards.
actually do think that was a genuine response from me. Okay, the just the sounds of excitement, hearing the truck purr to life, and looking at the inside of the color and all of that stuff. And I actually think that it worked in our favor. Okay, because what I think it made us look like was that we were easy targets. Little did they know that for the first time ever, we came there with plenty
Yes.
of leverage
So
and completely prepared.
This is the first time, right? You heard all of our other car buying stories.
They were all out of desperation.
This was the first time that we went without the need.
Yeah, and what a difference that makes.
Yes. So we went being okay, getting back in our Santa Fe and driving home. And we would have driven that Santa Fe for the next 5 years. We were happy with our car. We just wanted to have our truck that we've been wanting. Anyway, so going back to the truck, this truck was exactly what we wanted.
Like all of the safety
Like
features.
to the T.
To the T.
It has everything. I don't
including
think-
color.
Yeah, color, interior, the safety features.
I don't know if you remember this, but it was a gray day that day.
It was
It was a rainy day.
It was
And
yesterday.
there was a moment where the clouds parted and the sun shone directly
Oh,
over
God.
this truck.
Okay, so there was one thing that we never considered at all, but that this truck had, and it was a pleasant addition to.
Of course, we considered it. You told me it was non-existent.
I was non-existent. This is their first time doing it.
Well,
So we ended up, right? This truck is an electric hybrid, right? But with all the same power of a regular truck, of one of the regular trucks. So fast forward a little bit, we walk inside, and he tells us before we go in, listen, they're going to try and sell you over the sticker price because that's what they're doing because we're not selling a lot of vehicles. They got to make a little bit extra money.
and these trucks are in high demand,
in high
which is
demand.
actually true.
Yeah, we looked it up, and it was like all the comments were, yeah, if you're lucky enough to find one to test drive,
Apparently, there's some places that you can't even test drive it in.
yeah. And this specific vehicle, this truck, had raving reviews. What did it say? The thunder before the lightning.
Yes.
So
that gave me chills. Do you understand what that means? You hear it before you even see it.
So we sit down.
But you know it's coming because when you hear thunder, you know.
So we sit down and start taking all our information, all this stuff back and forth. And
But so he's already told us this, right?
Mhm.
That they're going to sell us the truck for more than what's on the sticker price, right? And it's like, okay, whoa, we're not playing that game, right?
Right.
So this is where me not speaking Spanish comes in so handy.
yeah, we played this game of back and forth.
Translator. It was like you were the
Yeah.
translator.
That was so good because
He
the
was
first
hanging
time-
on
yeah.
every word I would say. He would
the
be
first
like, what
yeah,
what
and
did
he was
you
trying
say?
to yeah.
What was that?
So the first time he comes back with the paper, it's like
$10,000 over the sticker.
$10,000 over the sticker, and we're like, we started having a discussion. I go back to him. I was like, we're not paying a penny over the sticker. And then he went back and forth, and it was like 3 or 4 times.
Well, because the thing is, this is my favorite part, right? He's like, okay, you got to give him a little something. Right over here, what you're willing to pay. He's like, remember, these trucks are in very high demand. And I tell you to tell him, yes, I know you guys are desperate, but we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, he knew he has no leverage.
Yeah.
We
So-
don't need this truck.
So I started going back and forth.
They need the sale.
I start going back and forth with Ketmia, and we start talking about different
So we
things.
write the sticker price on there. And we say, take that back to your boss and let him know we don't want to waste your time. We don't want you to waste our time.
Yeah, and he kept on coming back, like taking off 1,000 here or 2,000 here, and it was just like this game of back and forth. And we got him down to $2,500 over the ticket, the sticker price. And
And at this point,
point,
this is where you fold your arms.
yeah. So I fold my arms.
And you do a thinking face.
Right? And I'm like thinking, and I start talking about, well, the dealer down the street gave us a deal with this, and we were I was having a conversation with Ketmia,
A non-existent one.
a non-existent one, which was a bunch of baloney, but he was privy to it because he's sitting there.
And,
And
you're
he's
saying a lot of this in
listening.
Spanish.
And then I looked at him and I was like, no, we don't want to pay over the sticker price because it's like going into the store and buying a box of cookies that says $3 on it. But when I get to the register, they're charging me $5. I'm not okay with that. And he's like, well, there's no way they're going to do the deal. I was like, listen.
This is the part that was my idea.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Because I said, right, they're used to maybe like people talking down to them somehow, right? Right? Like you're supposed to work for me kind of thing. Right? And causing that sort of thing. But my thing was tell him, right, that we don't want to take bread out of their children's mouths. Okay? We know you need the money. And you know what? You should wait for somebody who's willing to pay $2,500 over your sticker price and sell the truck. We're just going to go look for someone.
It
Crunch your
doesn't
numbers.
need to be
Call
with
us.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be with us.
No.
You can get it with somebody else.
And at that moment, he
Yeah.
was like, oh.
So then he's like, if they come down a little bit more, you'll take it? I was like, listen, it's got to be at the sticker. I'm not going to pay a penny over the sticker price. And I told him, I was like, I have good credit score.
And we brought a down
right?
payment.
And we brought a down payment. He goes, how much you going to give down? And he was like, how much you going to give down? I was like, this amount. And he's like, okay.
And I
so
tell him,
he's like,
and I
yeah.
told you, tell him how we're going to get
Yeah. Yeah. She looks at me and she goes, tell him how we're going to do it. And I look at him and I'm like, cash. And he looks at me and he's like, you got the cash with you? You have it with you? Like here?
But his face was like, what?
Like what? He's like, you have the cash here with you? I was like, yeah, I have it here with me.
It's close.
I'm like, I have it with me.
This is like a mob deal going down.
And he leans over the table and he's like you are right now? He's like, right now? You have it? So I reach in my pocket and I pull out our down payment. And I was like, it's right here.
Go tell
your
boss.
boss you saw it.
He's like, okay.
I'm like,
Oh, they're going to do the deal now.
go tell your boss you saw it. And he goes running off. Right? And like, it was like 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later.
We were treated like royalty after that.
Okay. He comes over and he's like, I think maybe. Let's get the credit stuff going. Let's see what happens. I was like, fine. And all of a sudden, he pulls his phone, points it at me, and shows me, deal approved. He got a text from his boss. And we got the truck at the sticker price.
The sticker price.
We got
0%.
Yeah, 0% financing.
Hello. Yeah. That's huge. When would we have ever been able to do that before?
Never. So, and one thing I did forget to tell Ketmia, which her eyes started falling out of her head, was I always knew that I was going to get the extended warranty on it. So that was going to add on to the final price when you sit down in financing. So when they start talking about the final little things and they're like, well, do you want extended warranty? It's going to be like $3,000 more or whatever it was. And I was like, yeah, add that on. She's like, what? We just fought to bring us down. And I'm like, that's why we fought. Because we knew that was going to be sitting on top of it. So at the end of the night, it was...
Well, and so then there's this little bit, right, where because we got the 0%,
oh yeah,
there was some sort of a rebate that Ford was offering that we didn't qualify because now it was
right,
either or.
Get both, right?
Right, and so we said, well, we want to talk to this guy to see what he can do for us. At this point, they're literally begging us, please, because you're a sure thing.
Yeah,
you're gonna walk out of here, and we're gonna have a sale, right?
Yeah, and the manager comes in, and he's like, listen, he's like, I had to call my boss's boss to get this approved for you guys. It was $1,000, right? He's like, I can't bring that $1,000. There's no way I can do it. It's just no way I can do it. He goes, but I'll give you free tanks of gas and oil changes to cover up the $1,000. I was like, deal, let's go. Give me the paperwork, give me my keys, and let's go home. And that was probably the most stress-free.
It was so smooth.
It was less than 4 hours walking in to driving away in the new truck. And now we have Bessie sitting in the driveway, and she is a beauty.
And we named her Bessie because she's got a big
badonkadonk. She's a big butt girl. So,
oh man,
it is.
It's still like I feel like it's still like a dream. Like I still can't believe that truck out there is ours. But
yeah. Fantastic, and we ordered a couple little accessories to add to it, and some necessary stuff.
Right now, my brother-in-law is going to be listening to this, Rudy, and he already was telling me about the lift kit and the tires and all that stuff, and I was like, yes, that's going on a wish list.
Yes.
So it's not those things.
Pause. Yeah, no, it wasn't that stuff. But yeah. So we are proud owners of a beautiful...
And we ran over.
Oh, we ran over a lot.
Wow.
It's a special episode, but there was a lot to cover.
It's an extended cab edition.
Oh, that's what we'll name it. The extended cab edition. Anyways...
Thank you for hanging in, if you did, until the end of our episode.
Yeah, this was, it was fun to recall it.
I think a lot of people have really cool car stories.
Yes.
And really awful ones, but that's kind of, this is what makes the memories, right?
Yep. And it was, this was a good experience for us. And we're excited because we finally got our big old truck that we've been wanting for a long time. So, we're glad that we were able to share it with you. So join us next week, and it'll be some other shenanigans. So, that's all. You got anything else?
Nope.
You sure?
That's all for today, folks.
That is all. See you guys. Bye.